Hello everyone, welcome back to SSB Crack Exams. I am Drishti and today we are discussing the AFCAT 2 2020 numerical ability section questions, and in this particular session we will discuss the questions which came in the AFCAT paper which held on 4th October 2020, shift 1 and shift 2, right? So in this particular session we will discuss some memory based questions which were sent by some of our students. So let's discuss them one by one. So this is the question number 1, and in this question the average of 12 persons increased by 3.5 when a person weighing 56 kg is replaced by a new person. Then find the weight of the new person. So if you have gone through the lecture of important formulas of numerical ability section of AFCAT by SSB Crack Exam, you all must know that we have covered a formula there which you can use directly for solving this type of questions, right? So that direct formula was new average will be equals to old average plus the right entry or the correct entry minus the wrong entry divided by the total number of people. Okay. So here we are replacing the entry that is 56 kg by some new entry that is x. So here we can take 56 as a wrong entry and x as a new entry. Okay. And also they are given that total number of people are 12. So n will be 12 in this question. Similarly, it is given that the new average will be increased by 3.5. So if the old average was AO, then the new average will be 3.5 plus AO, right? So we can put all the values in this formula now. Here AO will remain AO plus this A will be our X as this is the unknown quantity, right? Then B, that is the wrong quantity, here will be 56, right? And the total number of people, that is n, is equals to 12 here. Now we can cancel this AO with this AO, right? Now we can solve it. So 3.5 into 12 plus 56 is equals to x, right? So x is the weight of the new person that is added. So we can solve it now. Here this 5 7s are 35, 5 2s are 10, 2 1s are 2, 2 6 are 12 and 7 6 are 42 plus 56 is equals to x. This implies x is equals to 98, right? So the weight of the new person is 98. So 98 should be our answer. So if you have remembered this formula correctly, you can easily solve this question, right? Now coming up on to the next question. So next question states that if P gives 50% of an amount to A, who gives 2.5 of the amount to B, and he is left with rupees 8,000 after paying 500 in bills, then what amount was there with P initially, right? So here firstly what we can do, we can let the amount with P be X, right? So initially say P was having rupees X. Now he gave 50% of his amount to A. So he gave X by 2 to A, right? So now A have X by 2 rupees. Okay. After that A gave 2 by 5th of his amount to B. So 2 by 5th of X by 2, because A's amount is X by 2 and 2/5 of X by 2 is given to B. So the amount given to B will be 2/5 of X by 2, right? So it will be X by 5, right? Now it is given that B is having amount 8,000 after paying 500 in bills. So the total amount with B will be 8,000 plus 500. So this X by 5 should be equals to 8,000 plus 500. This implies X will be equals to 8,500 into 5, right? So it will be equals to 5 5s are 25, then 5 8s are 40 plus 2, right? So we have got our X as 42,500. So the amount with P initially is 42,500. So this should be our answer for this question. Okay. Now coming upon to the next question. So next question states that the population of a city is 2 lakh. If annual birth rate and death rate are 6% and 3% respectively, then what is the population of city after 2 years? See, birth rate and death rate is always calculated at the initial population. Okay. So it is given that birth rate is 6%. So 6% of 2 lakh is increasing every year. Similarly, 3% of 2 lakh is decreasing every year. So the net increase will be equals to 6% minus 3% every year. So it will be 3%, right? So in this question, now we are given that initially population is 2 lakh and it is increasing with 3% annually. So we have to calculate the population of the city after 2 years. So again, if you have gone through the lecture of important formulas of numerical ability section of AFCAT, there we have covered the formula for the population after n years. Okay. So the correct formula is the population is given by P into 1 plus R, that is your rate of increase, right, by 100 to the power n. N is the time period. Okay. So here according to the question, R is equals to 3, N is equals to 2 years, right, and P is equals to 2 lakh. Okay. Now we can easily put all the values in this formula and find the answer. So it will be equals to 2 lakh into 1 plus R percent. So R is the increase which is 3, right. So 3 by 100 and N here is 2, right. So whole square. Now we can easily solve it. So it will be equals to 2 lakh into, here we can take the LCM. So it will be 103 by 100. And here is a square, so we can write it twice, right? Now we can cancel out these zeros, these two, right? Now we can easily solve this. So here square of 103 will be equals to 10609, that you can check yourself, into 20, right? So it will be equals to 9 2s are 18, 6 2s are 12 and 2 1s are 2 into 0, right? So this will be the answer, that is the population after 2 years will be equals to 2,12,180. Okay. Now coming upon to the next question. So next question is 9685 divided by 125 into 14 is equals to question mark into 6. So we have to find the value of this question mark. Okay. So here we have to find the approximate value for this question, right? So now let's write it down. So it will be 9685 divided by 125 into 14. Now this 6 will go in the denominator in LHS. So here this 6 and here this is the question mark. So now you need to solve this to find the answer. So here 2 7s are 14 and 2 3s are 6, right? Similarly, 5 25s are 125, then 5 1s are 5, 5 9s are 45, then 5 3s are 15 and 5 7s are 35, right? So we have got 1937 divided by 25 into 7 divided by 3 is equals to question mark, right? Now here you can cut it with this 3. So 3 1s are 3, 3 6 are 18, then 3 4s are 12 and 3 5s are 15, then 3 6 are 18. So we have got something like this. Now we have to take the approximate value. So we can take it as 646 into 7 divided by 25, right? So now here we can multiply by 4 in numerator and denominator so that we can get 100 in the denominator, right? So this is the value of question mark. Now do the multiplication and put the point after 2 digits as there is 100 in the denominator. So by solving approximately, the answer for this question will be 181 and the answer for this question will be 181. Okay. Now coming upon to next question. So next question states that maximum marks in physics maths and chemistry is in ratio 2:3:1 and X got 80% in physics, 50% in maths and 45% in chemistry. So calculate its final marks. So now firstly we can let maximum marks of physics be 2x, maths be 3x and chemistry be x, right? Now we are given that X got 80% in physics, right? So 80% of 2x, right? So it will be 1.6x, right? Similarly, he have got 50% in maths. So 50% in maths means 1.5x, right? Because we know that 50% means 1/2. So 3/2 of x will be 1/5 of x, right? Similarly, he got 45% in chemistry. So 45/100 of x will be equals to 0.45x. Right, now we have to find the final percentage. So percentage is given by the total marks obtained upon maximum marks into 100. So total marks obtained will be equals to 1.6x plus 1.5x plus 0.45x, right? Divided by 2x plus 3x is 5x plus x is 6x into 100, right? So now we can solve this out. So here this x will cancel out in the numerator and denominator and it will be equals to 3.55 by 6 into 100, right? So this 100 will come in the denominator and it will cancel out. So final answer will be 355 by 6, or we can say that 6 5s are 30, now 6 9s are 54, right? 0.1%. So we can say that approximately answer will be 59%, right? So now I hope this question is clear to you. Coming upon to the next question. So next question states that the speed of boat in still water is twice as of current speed. What is the ratio of upstream speed and downstream speed? Okay, so we are given that the speed of boat in still water is twice of that of the speed of current, right? So here we can let if the speed of current be x, then speed of boat, right, in still water will be 2x. Now we have to find the ratios of the speed of upstream to the downstream. Now we know that upstream means the boat is going in the opposite direction of that of the current. So speed of upstream will be equals to x 2x minus x, that is speed of boat minus speed of current, okay, and the speed of downstream. So downstream means the boat is following in the direction of the current. So the speed of downstream will be sum of the speed of current and the speed of boat. So it will be 2x plus x. So here it will be x divided by 3x. This x will cancel out with this x. So it will be 1/3. Or we can say that the ratio of the speeds in upstream to the downstream will be equals to 1:3. So this should be the final answer. Okay. Now coming upon to the next question. So in next question, difference between SI and CI is rupees 48. For 3 years at 2% per annum, find the principal. So by reading the statement only, we know that this question will be very lengthy if we will solve it by the traditional method. But if you all have gone through the lecture of the important formulas of numerical ability of AFCAT, there we have covered a important formula for this type of questions which will help you to solve this question within very less time. So let me recall the formula, and the formula is, for 3 years the difference between SI and CI is given by PR square into 300 plus R divided by 100 cube, right? So as we can see that in the question the time period is of 3 years. So for 3 years the required formula is this, and we are having a separate formula for 2 years, right? Now here in this question we need to find the value of P, that is the principal, and difference D is given by 48. This is our D. Then R is given by 2%. So this is our R. Right? Now we can easily put the values and find the value of P here. So now let's solve it. So it will be equals to 48 is equals to P into R is 2. So 2 square will be 4 into 300 plus R, that is 300 plus 2, that is 302 divided by 100 cube, right? So here P will be equals to 480 into 10 like 100 cube divided by 4 into 302. Here 4 ones are 4, 4 12s are 48, right? After that we can cut it by 2. So 2 6 are 12 and 2 1s are 2, 2 5s are 10 and 2 1s are 2, right? So we have got it as 660 lakh, right? Or the 6 million divided by 151. So the approximate value for this question will be rupees 39735, right? So you can solve this by yourself and check the answer. So this should be your final answer for this question. So you can see that by applying this formula directly, you can solve this question within very less time. Otherwise, it could have taken a lot of time for you to solve this question. Now coming upon to next question, and it states that A, B and C work together and complete a work in 24 days. The efficiency of A is twice of that of B and 4 times of C. If A and C work together on alternate days, then find the total number of days required to complete the work. Okay, so we are given that A, B and C are working together and completing a work in 24 days, right? Also, it is given that A is twice more efficient than B and 4 times more efficient than C. Okay, so if A's one day work is X units, then B's one day work will be X by 2, as A is twice more efficient than B. Right, so it will be X by 2 and C's one day work will be X by 4 because A is 4 times more efficient than C. Right, now we can find the exact ratio of their work. So it will be 4:2:1. Right, so we can see that if in a day A is doing 4 units of work, A is doing 4 units of work, B is doing 2 units of work and C is doing 1 unit of work, then A plus B plus C's one day work will be 4 plus 2 plus 1, that is 7 units of work, and they are completing a work in 24 days, right? So total units of work will be, that is total work will be 24 into 7, right? So it will be equals to 7 4s are 28, then 7 2s are 14 plus 2 is 16 units, right? Now again it is given that A and C work together on alternate days. So working together on alternate days means if on first day A is working, then on second day C is working, then again on third day A is working and on fourth day C is working, right? So this is the alternate pattern. Then find the total number of days required to complete the work. Okay, so if on first day A is working, then 4 units of work will be completed on first day, and on second day C is working, then C will do 1 unit of work in second day. So the 2-day work of A and C together, right, will be 5 units, that is 4 plus 1 units, right, and they have to complete 168 units of work. Okay, so here we can multiply 2 by 33 here and 5 by 33 here. So it will be 66. So in 66 days, they will complete 165 units of work, right? So in 66 days, A and C will complete 165 units of work, and now the work left will be 168 minus 165, that is 3 units of work will be left, and that 3 unit of work will be done by A because we have taken that A has started the work. So on 67th day, right, on 67th day, A will be doing the work and he will do these 3 units of work in 3/4 part of the day. Okay, so total time taken by A and C working together alternatively to complete the whole work will be 66 is to 3/4 days. That is, this should be our answer. Okay, so now I hope this question is clear to you. Now coming upon to next question. So this is a very simple question based upon simplification. So let's check what is given here. It is given that 145% of 780 plus x% of 200 is 1231. Find the value of x. So here 145 by 100 of 780 plus x by 100 of 200 is given to be 1231. Then we can cancel this 0 with this 0. Now 5 2s are 10 and 5 2s are 10, 5 9s are 45. After that 2 1s are 2 and 2 3s are 6, 2 9s are 18. Okay, so here 29 into 39, this will cancel with this 0. So plus 2x is equals to 1231. Right. Now we have to multiply 29 into 39. Right. So I can tell you one simple method for multiplying. So we can write 29 as 30 minus 1 and 39 as 40 minus 1. Now we can simply multiply these factors. So 30 into 40 will be 1200 plus 1 minus 70. So it will be equals to 1131. Right. So if you know some easy techniques of multiplication, you can easily do this way. Okay. So it will be equals to 2x is equals to 1231 minus 1131. So x will be equals to 100 by 2 and it will be 50. So we have got our x is equals to 50. So this should be our answer for this question. Right. So now I hope all the questions that I have discussed in this particular session are very much clear to you. Also, I hope you all have seen that most of the questions were directly based upon the formulas that we have discussed in our lecture of most important formulas of numerical ability section of AFCAT. Also, if you are preparing for upcoming AFCAT exam, then there were many questions from our courses also. So, you can always download our learning app and enroll to our courses for the better preparation and excel in your AFCAT exam. Okay. Also, for more such interesting and knowledgeable sessions, stay tuned to SSB Crack Exams. Jai Hind.
Hello and welcome back to SSB Crack Exams. I'm Anuradha and I am back once more with some Q&A session on the AFCAT 2 2020 verbal ability, that is of English section. Now, as you know that both the first and the second day of AFCAT 2 2020 exams have already taken place, and certain questions that the students have commented with on our social media platforms have been therefore taken in this session. So I will be discussing some of the questions from both the first and the second day of AFCAT 2 2020 exams from both the shifts. So here I am. So I'm going to start discussing the questions and I'm going to give you the answers. Now, as these questions are based purely on the memories of the students, there may be some kinds of confusion or there may be some kinds of, correct or incorrect orders in which I will be giving you the answers. Whatever it may be, you can let me know by commenting on the questions in the comment box below. Right? So before I start, let me tell you that now you can prepare for your upcoming AFCAT examination at the comfort of your place, and you can do so by logging on to our website ssbcrackexams.com or by downloading our mobile app from the Google Play Store. You can subscribe to our AFCAT course, which has been exclusively designed for all the AFCAT aspirants with the full content lectures, PDF study materials, quizzes, mock tests, practice exercises, sample practice Q&A, and much more. So let's start with the questions now. Antonym of inquisitive. When you are inquisitive, Now you have to first find out the meaning of the word, and then only you can find out the antonym or opposite of it. The word inquisitive means that you are curious. So if you're inquisitive about something, that means you're curious about that thing. So if you're not curious, that will be the antonym of inquisitive, right? So the antonym of inquisitive is incurious or indifferent or uninterested, right? The next question, antonym of opulent. So opulent means lavish and wealthy. Someone who is lavish, someone who is rich, someone who is wealthy means opulent. So obviously the opposite of opulent is a Spartan or poor. Now this word opulent, again, those of the students who have subscribed to our AFCAT course and who have gone through the practice exercises for the antonyms section will be able to recognize this word again, because this word was already there in the practice exercise 4 of the antonym section of AFCAT English course, right? So you must have gone through this word. So again, I'm repeating this. Opulent means lavish, wealthy, rich, and the antonym of opulent is Spartan or poor, right? The next question, synonym of mollify. That is the meaning of mollify. Mollify means to appease someone or to pacify someone or to reduce an intensity of something, right? So to appease or to pacify someone means that you are actually reducing the anger or the anxiety of someone. So reduce can also be a synonym of mollify. The next question is synonym of entangle. So something is entangled is something is twisted. So it can be a literal meaning of being twisted or entwine or tangle itself. So if you just cut this word N, you can get the word tangled itself. So as you can see, tangle, the synonym of the word entangled, is already there in the word itself. So tangle is a synonym of entangle. And in a metaphorical sense, to get twisted with something is the meaning of entangle. So in the metaphorical sense, it can also mean being involved with something, right? So the synonym of entangled can be entwine, tangle, or getting involved. The next question is antonym of insignificant. So obviously this is a very easy word. I hope that you have got to know about this word, significant, insignificant. In many places you have heard of it, or you must have come across this word before. Significant means obviously something which is important, right? Insignificant means unimportant or trivial. So if something is unimportant or trivial, the antonym or opposite of that thing will be obviously important or significant. So the antonym of insignificant is significant or important. The next question is meaning of idiom a duck in a thunderstorm. Again, those of you who have already gone through the AFCAT course of English must have come across this idiom, because I have discussed about this particular idiom in my sample Q&A of the idioms and phrases section. So if you go through the AFCAT sample practice Q&A lecture as well as the study material of the idioms and phrases section of AFCAT course, you will come across this very idiom. And the meaning of this idiom is having a dejected or a hopeless expression. Why? Because the idiom originates from the miserable demeanor of ducks during thunder, which has been proverbial since the late 18th century. So the miserable demeanor or appearance of the ducks during the thunderstorm has given this meaning to the idiom a duck in a thunderstorm. That means someone who is having a very dejected, sad, hopeless expression is called a duck in a thunderstorm, right? The next question is meaning of idiomatic phrase doubting Thomas. Now, if you are calling someone a doubting Thomas, you're calling that person the very idiomatic phrase doubting Thomas because he's a person who is skeptical and who refuses to believe something without proof. So a person who is skeptical and who refuses to believe something without a proof is called a doubting Thomas. And this very idiom doubting Thomas is of a biblical origin, and it originates from Saint Thomas, the apostle, who doubted Jesus' resurrection until he had proof of it. So basically, doubting Thomas, this Thomas, it was St. Thomas, the apostle who doubted Jesus' resurrection until he had proof of it. And from this biblical origin of St. Thomas, the very idiomatic phrase doubting Thomas has come from. So doubting Thomas is a person who is skeptical and refuses to believe something without a proof. Right? The next question is meaning of idiom to take people by storm. So if I say that someone has taken people by storm, means that very person has become suddenly and extremely popular and successful in a particular place, or popular and successful with people. So to take people by storm means to be suddenly extremely successful or popular in a place or popular with people. The next question is meaning of the idiom to keep one's head. So to keep one's head means to remain calm. This is as opposed to the very idiomatic phrase to lose one's head. So I hope that you have come across this very idiomatic expression while you were going through our AFCAT English course of idioms and phrases, where to lose one's head means to become mad or to become crazy. So this is again the opposite of keeping one's head. So if you're losing your head, you're becoming mad or crazy, or you're becoming worried or anxious. But if you keep your head, that means you are remaining calm, patient and sensible. So that is the meaning of keeping one's head. The next is he congratulated him for or on his success. Now this again was according to a comment of a student in our social media platforms, and I received this statement, and it can be of a statement he's questioning pertaining to fill in the blanks, or it can also be spotting of errors. So whatever it may be, you need to find out the correct preposition for the sentence. He congratulated him for his success, or he congratulated him on his success. Now it should be he congratulated him on his success. So if you have already gone through the AFCAT English course, specifically the section spotting errors, in that particular section of spotting errors, I have talked about a particular subsection which is appropriate prepositions. So in that very lecture, the study material which I have provided to you in the appropriate preposition section of spotting of errors in AFCAT English course, there I have given you this very word congratulate, and the preposition that should always follow congratulate will be on. So he congratulated him on his success. So those of you who have already gone through the study material of appropriate prepositions will know this. The next question, opposite or antonym of endow. Now what is the meaning? First you have to find out the meaning of endow. If you endow something to someone, that means you are providing or supplying that very thing to the person. So to endow means to provide or supply. So what will be the opposite or the antonym of endow? Obviously to decrease or destroy. So decrease or destroy are the antonyms of endow. The next question is synonym and antonym of impeccable. Again, it was not known whether the synonym came or the antonym. Some said it was the synonym, some said it was the antonym, so I took both of them. So if something is impeccable, that means something is without a flaw. Something is perfect, something is flawless, something is pure and virtuous. So obviously, the synonym or the meaning of impeccable is flawless, pure, virtuous. And the antonym, the opposite of impeccable, is imperfect or sinful. So someone who is not virtuous is sinful, and someone or something which is not flawless, not perfect, will be imperfect. So the antonym of impeccable is imperfect or sinful. The next question, antonym of languid. So languid means lazy or unenergetic or weak. So the opposite of lazy is energetic. The opposite of weak is active. So the antonym of languid is energetic or active. The next question is synonym and antonym of impinge. Again, there was a confusion with this word impinge, and I've taken both synonym and antonym for this word. So synonym of impinge, that is the meaning of impinge, is to influence someone or to encroach or to invade one's privacy. Antonym of impinge therefore means to refrain, stop or discontinue. So the synonym of impinge is influence, encroach or invade, and the antonym of impinge is to refrain or to stop or to discontinue. The next question is synonym and antonym of demure. Again, there was a confusion with the word, and I've taken both synonyms and antonyms of demure. Synonym, that is the meaning of demure, is reserved, modest or shy, and the opposite or the antonym of demure is brazen or shameless. So someone who is not modest, someone who is not reserved is brazen or shameless. The next is the meaning of idiom take the bull by its horns. Now, those of you again who have gone through the vocabulary section, specifically the idioms and phrases list categorizing on the animals, have come across this very specific idiom. So if you want to get all these very common and popular idioms that I have already discussed in the content lectures of idioms and phrases in the AFCAT English course, you can do so by subscribing to our AFCAT course. But you can do that by downloading our mobile app. Well, so the meaning of idiom take the bull by its horns is to deal decisively with a difficult or a dangerous situation, right? And the origin of this very idiom is from the far west in America. So this theory originated in the American West, where ranchers, in order to control a bull, would have to catch it. Grabbing a bull by the legs or the neck would not have worked. The only way was to face the problem head on by taking the bull by the horns and bringing it to the ground. So this was a very common practice among the ranchers in the western part of America, where they used to grab the bull and bring it under their control by its horns. So from there, the idiom take the bull by its horns have come, and this means to deal decisively with a very difficult or a dangerous situation, right? So I hope that all of you have gone through this Q&A session on the AFCAT 2020 English Verbal Ability section. So I'll be coming back with more such questions as the students will comment on our social media platforms. If I have missed any question, you can comment on those questions in the comment box below, and I will take up those questions in my next session and I will discuss them and provide you with answers. So this was all about the first and the second day, both the shifts English questions that I have got through the social media platforms where the students have commented based on their memory for AFCAT 2020 English Verbal Ability section. And I will see you next with another session on the AFCAT 2020 English Q&A. Till then, you need to work hard, believe in yourself, and for those of you who are going to take the test, all the best for your exam. Please do not forget to subscribe to our AFCAT course to get more such details on the words and the idioms that I have just shown it to you in this session, and so that you can score better and perform in a much better way in your AFCAT examination. Work hard, practice hard, dream big, and stay motivated. Jai Hind.
Hello everyone, welcome back to SSB Crack Exams. I am Sakshi and I'm back here again with the AFCAT 2 2020 A Journal Awareness section question and answers. So I'm going to discuss all the questions that were there in your AFCAT 2 2020 paper, which was held on 4th October. So I'm going to discuss questions from both the shifts in this session. We are going to cover all the questions which were there in your AFCAT 2 2020 on 4th October, okay, including shift 1 and shift 2. And we are going to discuss journal awareness section question and answers. So let's start. So the first question was, who won Best FIFA Men's Players 2019? So the correct answer for this is Lionel Messi. He won the award with 46 rank points, and the selection criteria for the men's player of the year was respective achievements during the period from 16 July 2018 to 19 July 2019. Next question is, the first Indian actress to have been nominated to the Rajya Sabha was. So, correct answer for this is Nargis Dutt. She was the first woman film star nominated, or you can say elected to Rajya Sabha in early 1970s. Nargis became the first patron of the Spastic Society, and her subsequent work with the organization brought her recognition as a social worker, and later she was nominated in Rajya Sabha in 1980. Next question is, when did the first War of Independence take place? So this was 1987, which is also known as Armed Rebellion, Indian Rebellion of 1987. Okay, so this will be the correct answer. Next question, the United Nations agency concerned with the improvement of standards of education and strengthening international cooperation in this field. So which UN agency is responsible for the improving standards for education? So the correct answer will be UNESCO. UNESCO is responsible and concerned with the improvement of the standards of educational and cooperation in the same field. Next question, Uber Cup is related to which sport? Again, question relating to the sports. Again, it is there. So Uber Cup, it is related to badminton. Okay, it is representing the trophy Uber Cup. It is representing the Women's World Championship in the sport of badminton. Next question, Buland Darwaza was built to mark Akbar's capture over which place? This question is from history. If you have seen our courses, everything is covered in our courses, and if you have given our test series, these questions will be easier to answer. So the answer will be Gujarat. The Buland Darwaza was built to mark Akbar conquest of Gujarat, okay, and it is known as Gate of Victory, and it was built in 1872 AD. It is the main entrance to the palace at Fatehpur Sikri, which is 43 km from Agra, and it is the highest gateway in the world and an example of Mughal architecture. So the place was Gujarat. Next question is, Oslo is the capital of which country? This question is from the country's capital currency. If you have seen those series, you can easily answer this question. So the answer is Norway. It is the capital of Norway. Oslo, it is a biggest city in Norway, and it has been the country's capital since 1814. Next question, which is the brightest near night star? So the answer will be Sirius. This is the brightest night star. It is also known as Dog Star or Sirius A. It is the brightest star in the Earth's night sky. Okay. Next question is, rink is the play area of which sport? So it is a play area of ice hockey. It is a contact team sport played on ice and usually in a rink. Next question, who wrote the famous epic Saket? Saket epic was written by Maithili Sharan Gupta ji. Okay, it was written by Maithili Sharan Gupta in 1932. It is a famous Hindi epic poem by Maithili Sharan Gupta, a modern version of Ramcharitmanas, and which describes an ideal Hindu society and Rama as the ideal man. Next question, when was Takshila University established? So it was established in around 600 BC to 500 AD. This was a time period, and it was flourished between this time in the kingdom of Gandhar in ancient India, but now it is in Pakistan. Everything related to this history is covered in our courses. If you have attended those sessions, these questions were very easy for you. Steeplechase is related to which game? Again, question from sports. So it is related to horse racing. It is an obstacle race in athletics which derive its names from the steeplechase in horse racing. Next question, word gambit is related to which sport? Again, very easy question. It is related to chess. Chess is the basically gambit. It is a chess opening. Okay, it is related to chess. Correct answer is chess. Next question, Quit India movement launched from which place? So it was launched from Mumbai. Okay, it was launched from Mumbai on August 8, 1942 at All India Congress Committee session in Bombay. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, he launched Quit India movement. Okay, so it started in Bombay. Next question, name the Indian chess player who has broken the world record by finishing the game in the first 12 moves. So the correct answer for this is very famous, Vishwanathan Anand. He has broken the world record by finishing the game in the first 12 moves. Next question, who was Salim Ali? Very famous. So Salim Ali, he was a ornithologist and naturalist. Sometimes he is also referred as the Birdman of India. He was the first Indian to conduct systematic bird survey across India and wrote several bird books that popularized ornithology in India. Next question, Subrata Cup is associated with which sport? So it is associated with football tournament. Basically, it is an international inter-school football tournament. Okay, it is an inter-school football tournament internationally, and it is held annually in New Delhi, India, and it is named after Indian Air Force Air Marshal Subrata Mukherjee. It is an annual event that began in 1960. Next question, Cant is related to which sport? So the answer will be it is related to Kabaddi. It is when a player goes to a half of the opposition, he has to chant Kabaddi in one breath in a continuous process. That chant is also known as cant. Next question, duck is related to which sport? The term duck. So it is related to cricket. In cricket, a duck, it is a batsman's dismissal with a score of 0. Next question, which state received the highest rainfall during the winter month? If you have attended our geography session, in our geography classes, we have covered everything relating to the climatology. Okay, which state it receives the highest rainfall during the winter months? So the correct answer is it is Tamil Nadu. It receives the highest rainfall during the winter months because it lies on the windward side of these winds and hence gets more rainfall during the winter season. And the air over Siberia, it cools, creating a high pressure on the north of the Himalayas. Okay, so the answer will be Tamil Nadu. Next question, which among the following is the fool's gold? So the correct answer is iron sulfide or pyrite. Okay, either of them was the option and both of them are correct. Both are same. The mineral pyrite, or you can say iron pyrite, it is known as fool's gold. It is an iron sulfide with chemical formula FeS2. So the fool's gold is technically known as the pyrite or iron sulfide. It is one of the most common sulfide mineral. It is nicknamed as fool's gold, but it often contains a surprising amount of gold. Next question is, which river in India forms largest river delta in India? So largest river delta, it is formed by Ganga Brahmaputra delta. You will see here, this is the part of India. Here the delta is, okay. So the Ganga Brahmaputra delta, also named as Ganga delta, Sundarban delta or Bengal delta. It is situated in Asia where the Ganga and Brahmaputra rivers discharges into the Bay of Bengal. Here, okay. Next question, Harshavardhana, the last great Hindu king of northern India, ruled which century? So they are asking the time period of Harshavardhana. So the correct answer will be 7th century. He is known as Harsha. He is known as Harshavardhana and was a third ruler of Vardhana dynasty and the last great empire in the ancient India before the Islamic invasion, and he ruled for 606 BC to 647 BC, and after Harshavardhana's death, the Vardhana's dynasty came to end and its empire dissolved. Next question, which of the following inscription of Ashoka mentioned the name Ashoka? So it was the famous inscription is known as Musky Edict. Okay, Musky Edict, there was mention of the name of Ashoka, and the name of Ashoka, it is mentioned in Musky and Gujarat only. Next question, Gulf of Mannar is situated in which sea? So it is situated in Indian Ocean. It is located in Indian Ocean and it is located between southeastern India and western Sri Lanka. It is bounded to the northeast by Rameshwaram Island and Ramas Bridge and Mannar Islands. Next question, Queensberry rules. It is the name given to the rules in which of the following sports? So the Queensberry rules, it is the rules in the boxing. Next question, the four-headed lion capital from Ashoka's pillar at. So where it is located? So it is located in Sarnath. So Ashoka's pillar of Sarnath, it is where the Buddha who delivered his first sermon. So it is located in Sarnath. Next question, Where does ISRO Space Application Center is located? So it is located in Ahmedabad. Okay, the Space Application Center of ISRO, it is located in Ahmedabad, and it is an institution of research in Ahmedabad under aegis of ISRO. Next question, winds which flow through equatorial region are called as? Winds which flow in equatorial region are called as, they are called as trade winds. Okay, you will see these winds, right? They are known as trade winds. These are also known as easterlies, and they are permanent east to west prevailing winds that flow in the Earth's equatorial region. Next question, the book Cricket My Style is written by, so it was written by Kapil Dev. It is a book of Kapil Dev. He wrote 3 autobiographical works, and the first one was By God Decree. It came out in 1985. The second was Cricket My Style in 1987, and he released one more book, and it was titled as Straight from the Heart, and it was released in the year 2004. Next question, who credited with the translation of Upanishad from Sanskrit to Persian? So it was Dara Shikoh. He translated Upanishads in Persian language because he wanted that Muslim scholar they can study these books. Next question, Commonwealth Games are held in how many years? So they are held in every 4 years. Okay, the first event was held in 1930, and they are taking place in every 4 years. Next question, which country is the source for the directive principles? So DPSP, we have taken DPSP in our Indian constitution from the Constitution of Ireland. Okay, so DPSP are taken from Ireland. Next question, who was the first Governor General of Free India? So first Governor General of Free India would be Lord Mountbatten. I know you guys must be getting confusion from the name of Chakravarti Rajagopalachari ji, but he was the first Indian. Okay, do remember he was the first Indian Governor General. But when we say that who was the first Governor General of Free India, so technically it will be Lord Mountbatten. Next question, which planet is called as water planet? Very easy question. So Earth is known as water planet, and it is the only planet to have bodies of liquid water on its surface. Next question, who among the following leaders founded Harijan Sevak Sangh in 1932? Easy question, direct question. So the answer will be, he was Mahatma Gandhi ji. He was the one who founded Harijan Sevak Sangh. Okay, in 1932, it was a non-profit organization that helps the depressed class to access the public places like temples, schools, road, water resources, and also conduct interdining and inter-caste marriages. Next question, Parinita is written by, again a question from the book. So Parinita is written by Sarat Chandra Chattopadhyay. He wrote Parinita in 1914, and the language of the book was Bengali. Next question, which year NCC started in India? So NCC was established in the year 1948, okay, and it is the largest uniformed youth organization established under National Cadet Corps Act. Next question, Bimbisara was the ruler of which dynasty? So he was the king of Haranyaka dynasty. Okay, he was from Haranyaka dynasty, and he was the first ruler of Haranyaka dynasty of Magda, and the capital was then Rajgriha. Next question is, the part of the constitution that reflects the mind and ideals of the framers is? Which part reflects the minds and ideals of the framers? So it is the preamble, it is the part which reflects the framers' ideals. Next question is, Mallika Sarabhai is associated with which of the following fields? Which fields? So the answer will be, she is associated with classical dance. Okay, she is an activist, an Indian classical dancer, and an actress from the Ahmedabad, Gujarat, and she is a multi-talented gem of India, and she is related to classical dance. Next question is, what is the element commonly used in electrical heating devices? So very easy question. The element which is used in the electrical heating devices, commonly used, it is nichrome. It is widely used in electric heating elements. Okay, so the next question is, a navigator starts from Tokyo on Monday and crosses the international date line, and then he reaches to New York. What is the day in New York? So the answer will be Sunday. See, this is the international date line, okay, and this is Tokyo in Japan, and this is New York in USA. Okay, so when a person is going eastward, is traveling eastward, okay, here, then the day goes backward by 1. Henceforth, when he was traveling from Monday, he'll reach on Sunday, right? So international date line, it is an imaginary and arbitrary line on the Earth's surface that runs from North Pole to the South Pole. And when you cross ideal international day line, the day and dates both changes, and if you cross it traveling eastward, the day goes backward by 1 and date also goes backward by, decreases by 1. So guys, this is it about the question and answers from your both session, from your shift 1 and shift 2. I've tried to cover all the question which we got, as you know that these are the memory based questions. So we try to cover all the questions that were there, and you must see that the question paper, the 90% of the paper, it directly came from our recent AFCAT mock test. If you have attended those tests, these questions were very easy for you. So still, if you're preparing for AFCAT examination or other defense examination, you can download our mobile app SSB Crack Exams. You can directly download it from the Google Play Store. Download the app, subscribe to our courses, and start preparing for these examination. So I'll see you in the next session with the questions from the 5th October paper. We'll discuss all the questions that were there in the general awareness section, and we'll try to cover everything that is there. So I'll see you in the next session. Till then, stay motivated. Jai Hind.